what do you do on a day-to-day basis as part of this job? They're going to ask things like that, key competencies in the interview, and if you can show that you have knowledge and that you care enough about this job that you revise what the company is like, they are going to love you for that. Hi there, my name is Georgia and welcome back to the Lazzzy Student. If you're new here, we're a student advice channel full of tips and tricks to help you through your university career. Please consider subscribing if you like the video, leave a like and leave a comment down below letting us know what you thought of this video. Okay, today we're going to talk about how to get a part-time job at university as a uni student, so if you're interested in that then please just keep on watching. Tip number 1. Have a great CV. Now, most of you, if not all of you, have probably heard of what a CV is. A CV is a document that you put all of your experience, your grades, things like that on to make the best impression on an employer. So, all of your work experience should be on your CV. Now, if you've just left school and you really haven't done much in the way of work, think extracurricular. Now, if you're in your first year of university, have you joined any clubs, any societies? Are you maybe involved in charity work? That is awesome, and I recommend volunteering for a charity, not just for your CV, but for your soul, okay? It is such an amazing cause, no matter what you're volunteering for, and you guys would not only build your CV doing it, it makes you a better, more well-rounded person. I truly believe that, so definitely keep that in mind. Obviously, when employers see that you've got things like charity experience, they're going to think, wow, this person has integrity, this person really thinks for themselves, this person does good for the environment or for people, whatever you volunteer as, and that is definitely some brownie points, especially if you don't have any job history to put onto your CV. That can really boost and show, you know, I may not have had a job, but I've done something. As well as showing everything on your CV that you've done so far, whether that be your previous qualifications from school or university, make sure if you're in your first year that you do put what your degree is. I know you don't know what you're going to get in your degree yet, but it is important that they know you're working towards something that can really shine on a CV as well. It can be helpful to list what modules you're doing during your first year and kind of pad these out, not just tell them what the subject matter is, just make sure that you're showing you're learning different skills from your course, such as organization and how to use Excel, how to use computers, leadership, are you doing any presentations? Make sure to add all of that in. A lot of the time you can find that in your module outline. So as well as acing your CV, you want to write a cover letter for every single job you apply for. I know that it sucks, but it is so worth it. Look, I'll be really honest with you, unfortunately there is so much competition when it comes to applying for jobs. Even a part-time job at your local bar or cinema, there's probably going to be a couple of hundred applicants, but don't let that put you off, okay? You have the skills, you're going to get some volunteering done, you're going to put your course and what you're learning transferable skills wise on your CV, but a way to really shine is to put it on your cover letter. Now, a cover letter is a short letter that you include as well as your CV on your application. Now, if you're applying for a store, I want you to go on Google, find that store and find everything that you can and learn about it. How long have they been around for? What are their key values? If you can find that their key values are respect and integrity, you best bet you're going to put that in your cover letter as skills that you possess. Most, if not all, jobs will include 5 to 10 list items of exactly what they're looking for in their perfect candidate. You want to be that perfect candidate, and a way that you can show that and absolutely shine is going to be by incorporating a lot of what they say they want into your cover letter. That makes you stand out as a candidate. It's something silly percentage-wise of people that don't even bother writing cover letters. You want to write that cover letter to put yourself in the actual runnings. Don't fall into the trap of just copying and pasting. Make sure that you are specifically doing it for every single company you apply for. It may sound really dull, and I know it adds time, but it's so worth it in the end when you get the job. So back a few years ago when GDPR didn't exist, we could go to a shop or a bar and hand our CV in physically. Now you really can't do that anymore because of GDPR and loads of different rules. However, that does not mean that you need to sit behind your computer and just send off a load of applications without ever making yourself known. Whether it's making the effort to phone the company and the manager in, or whether it's actually getting off your butt and going to the store that you're applying for and meeting the manager, make sure you do everything possible so that when they look at your application and see your name, they resonate with it because they've heard your voice or they've met you. Okay, this is one of the oldest tricks in the book. So if you're applying to a store, let's say you're applying to your local supermarket, what I want you to do is I want you to get up, get dressed, get a nice, smart, casual outfit on, go into the store, go into the customer service desk. Then what you can do is say, hi, do you happen to be hiring? I mean, you want to finesse it a bit more than that, but get a general feel for it. If you already know they're hiring, you don't need to let on necessarily. You just need to go in and ask if there's any jobs going. If they say they are, just say, wow, I'd love to apply here. It's my favorite store. Could you tell me a little bit more about the role, please? My name's Georgia. You see how easy that was? I slipped my name into there. And then when they read my application, they're gonna think, Georgia. Hey, Georgia from, yeah, I know, I met her. And if you made a good impression, you were most likely going to get that interview, which is basically the best step of this whole process. A quick add-on to when you're looking for part-time jobs, usually if you're looking on things like Indeed or Reed or Monster, anything online, if you're at university, you are likely to have your own internal career system. Definitely make use of that, okay? That's going to be super, super important. Get a part-time job that is no more than 16 hours. That's what my university recommended, and that's what most universities recommend, so that your job doesn't clash with your studies. At the end of the day, you're at university to get your degree, and while unfortunately we still need to make money, a lot of the time the student loan just doesn't cover us. We cannot be working more than 16 hours a week because it's going to start really interfering with your seminars, your workload, and especially when you've got your dissertation, that is tough, trust me. So you made it to the actual interview. Now there's usually two different types of interview for part-time jobs. Either you're going to get a phone interview, which sometimes, by the way, they phone you out of the blue, so make sure you always have your phone on, because if you miss that call, it can be difficult to call them back and explain that you weren't near the phone. Sometimes you do a telephone interview, then an in-person interview, or sometimes they just do straight to the in-person interview. If you get a telephone call, always treat it and answer the phone very politely as if it is a potential job calling you. What I like to do is on the notes of my phone, I like to keep exactly who I've applied for and a really quick kind of 5 or 6 sentences about the job and about who they're looking for. That is a lifesaver, because sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, if you apply for 100 jobs in 1 week, you're not gonna remember when someone calls up, sometimes from an agency. Say you applied for like a bar job, they could have an agency that they use to hire people. So if they hire from the agency, sometimes they expect you to know on the phone. If they're hiring, if they call you and say, oh yeah, hi, we're from agency A for that job you applied for 6 weeks ago. You're gonna be like, yeah, could I have some more information? I don't remember applying. Don't say that, but that's exactly how you'll feel. If you have it on your phone notes, exactly who you've applied for, what they're looking for, and a brief description of the job, that is going to help you monumentally not screw up when you get the telephone interview. So you've gotten to the in-person interview, and if you've gotten this far, that means there's something they really, really like about you. Amazing. The best way to go about this is, first of all, remember that research you did for the company back when you wrote your cover letter? Make sure that you re-revise that, write yourself a few notes, and find out just a couple things. What's the company's name? When was it founded? What are their key values? What do you do on a day-to-day basis as part of this job? They're going to ask things like that, key competencies in the interview, and if you can show that you have knowledge and that you care enough about this job that you revised what the company is like, they are going to love you for that, and you're really likely to get the job. So make sure you do your research. Make sure you dress smartly, but not too smartly, but also not too casually. I know, it's a lot to think about, and you can definitely Google some different looks for interviews. For instance, today I'm just wearing a blouse that I sometimes wear to interviews. I'm also wearing some black trousers, and that's smart, casual, maybe a bit more smart, but You want to go business smart, always dress for the job you want, not the job you have, and in this case are applying for, but you don't want to go too overboard. For instance, for men, maybe a three-piece suit and a tie like you're going to a wedding is a little bit too much. A smart shirt, potentially a black tie, and some nice trousers and some good shoes, hair comb back, that's probably what you need to be doing. Ladies, you can wear a nice skirt and a blouse, you can wear a blouse and some trousers, as long as it doesn't scream, I literally just got out of bed, chucked my leggings on and my old school hoodie from 5 years ago. Honestly, it'll be okay. Just make sure that you're well groomed. Girls, I'm not telling you have to wear makeup, because do you know what? I think that the whole you have to wear makeup, you have to wear heels, I'm not about that. If you don't want to do that, you don't want to do that. Make sure that you feel confident, because if you feel confident, that's going to show in your interview and that confidence is going to come across. Remember, when you get to the interview, please just breathe. I know this whole process can feel really, really overwhelming, but it doesn't have to. The sad reality is that you're probably going to apply for quite a few jobs and go to quite a few interviews before you even find a part-time job. And I can tell you as a graduate, it doesn't get easier. In fact, it gets more competitive, okay? But that's not to scare you off. You are a strong candidate who has read all about the company, really worked on your CV, improved your covering letter, and specifically targeted it to that job. You've practiced your interview skills in a mirror, you've dressed well, and you know what you're doing. You're gonna nail this, okay? If you do need any support, make sure you talk to your careers advisors at the university. They usually have a wealth of information, as well as an entire list of jobs that are hiring internally and externally from the university that you may not be able to find online. Hopefully, if you followed these tips, you're going to find yourself a part-time job in no time. If there's anything I left out, please leave it down below in the comments. I'll be sure to reply and potentially make a video about it. If you do want to see a video on key things, such as an entire video on how to do your CV and your cover letter, things like that, please make sure you subscribe and leave a comment down below just letting me know, what do you want to see? What have I missed out? I can't make the video unless I know, guys, so please let me know, okay? Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you next Thursday. Bye!